Hello everybody, hope you're well. I've got a slightly different camera angle for you today because I want to get really close in so you can see what I'm up to. Today is a very short, simple, basic video which is more aimed at beginners. Right, you know, if you're a seasoned pro, this isn't going to be informative to you at all. It's basically talking about shock absorbers when you're assembling them, how to put your shock bottom or shock eye, let me get it right way around, the shock eye, there it is, onto the shaft of the shock absorber. Because basically what happens is when you're screwing this on, it's threaded obviously, you can screw that on quite no problem, screw that on, and it's all good until it starts getting a bit tighter, and then you'll find that the shock shaft actually starts to spin and you're getting no purchase, and it just spins hopelessly, and you can't get the thread. Let's see if I can get it focused. You can't get the thread tightened up anymore. Now this video, as I said, is very simple and it's an obvious thing, but I've been wanting to do this for a long time because I saw a video posted up by an American guy, probably last year, maybe year before, and I'm not going to say the name of the video or the name of the YouTuber because I'm not promoting that at all. He was, let's just say his IQ was probably in negative numbers. The guy was a complete moron and gave the worst advice I could possibly think of when it comes to building these shocks. Now this is not an oil-filled shock absorber. This is a crappy friction shock you get with your Tamiya TT01 kit. I never built my Tamiya with this because I would never build any of my cars with these things, so I had an actual shock absorber put on it from the word go. But this is good enough for an example of what we're doing. So what this guy thought to do is basically, once you get to the point where you can't use your hand anymore to turn it because it's just spinning, what he was like, grab yourself a pair of pliers, and it wasn't pliers he used. He grabbed them straight onto the shaft, but it wasn't pliers, it was snips. So obviously snips are good at, what are they good at doing? There's something that snips are good for. Oh yeah, snipping, that's right. And they've got two sharp edges. So he was like trying to clamp down with this. Snips, like clamp. And then he spinning this. And obviously what it was doing was making a nice groove all the way around because you can't really clamp it with snips. All you can do is damage it with snips. And so he moved on to molly grips instead. And he got them torqued up, clamped it down, and you know, you got it tightened up. And after that, the surface here, it's of the shaft, it has to be especially slippery and shiny on an oil-filled shock because the body in here is all full of oil, and there's a rubber seal to stop oil leaking out, and this has to move past the oil seal and leave it lovely and sealed up so that no leaks occur, but you also get the nice fluid movement. And basically he left burrs all over it, so he took a file to it, a metal file, and filed away at the surface, and then he was like, well, it ain't glass smooth. And he guarantees that all the professional ones, all the pro racers, they've got all the damaged ones as well. And what was great is he was using phrases like, it's so obvious unless you're a dumbass. So, which was great because he was obviously missed the point completely, so he must be a dumbass. Basically, let's not do that. This is for if you get tools to do this. You get, I think they're called shock pliers, or shock shaft pliers or something. This is for the basic sort of starting hobbyist who doesn't have these. The best way to do it is if you get actual pliers, not snips. You can't just go clamp onto the shaft because you'll damage the shaft. And the whole point is, especially on oil, again, this is a friction shock, it doesn't really matter on something crap like this, but on an oil-filled shock you can't just clamp down, you'll damage the shaft, you'll damage the surface, and then it'll leak. Two ways of doing it. Well, there's a few ways of doing it, but two very basic ways of doing it. First of all, number one, get some kitchen roll or paper towel or whatever, cut a, you know, sliver off it, a thin amount, long thin amount. What you can do is basically, so let's just say I can no longer turn this without the shaft turning, I can't get any more, you know, any tighter. Just wrap the kitchen roll, the paper, around the shaft, nice and tight. Wrap it round, wrap it round, wrap it round. So now you've got the, not over the thread, obviously, you need the thread exposed. So I don't know if you can see that, the thread's still there. And then, so here we have it wrapped around, then you can hold that with your pliers. You can squeeze it, get some real squeeze on it, and you can turn this by hand. It means you can tighten up your shock eye, your shock bottom, whatever you want to call it, as tight as you want to get it. Say that'll do, whatever. And what you do now, peel that off and you'll see absolutely no damage to the shock shaft at all. Method number one. Thing is, paper towel's not very strong, and you know, if you've got sharp pliers or if you have to really squeeze down and turn it, it could potentially rip. So it's not the best solution. A better solution, and I'm going to use this to take this back off rather than put it on because it's already on. Let's just use a little bit of electrical tape. Wrap the electrical tape around the shaft. Electrical tape is stronger than the paper towel, than the kitchen roll. It will protect it better. Give it a few rolls, no problem. Not that I particularly neat. In fact, I've made a dog's dinner of it, but that doesn't really matter in this. There we are. It's rolled up. There's your pliers again, clamped down, and I can twist it off again. So I'm stopping the shaft spinning completely. See, look, it's come off now. But what I'm not doing is damaging the shaft. There we go, see? No damage whatsoever. That's especially important. I cannot emphasize. Again, these are friction shocks. Doesn't matter, these are crap. I'm never going to use them. For your oil filled shocks, you don't want to be damaging them because what will happen is they'll leak. You'll need new ones. You'll need new shock shafts. Maybe you have to get a rebuild kit or whatever. That's just a waste of money, waste of time, not worth doing. So if you don't have the right tools, well, not the right tools, if you don't have the specialist tools, because these are perfectly good for what you're doing. If you are a seasoned pro, you will have the specialist tools. But yeah, you shouldn't be scared of trying these things, and you just need to use a bit of common sense, absent in our friend. Yeah, that's all you do. No more to say. Thank you very, very much for watching, and cheers.